Shane, and this is the Bliss Blog. Today we're discussing the blissful art of doing nothing at all. It is Sunday. It's our universal day off, but I wonder how many of us use it that way. I think for most of us, Sunday or whatever day is our day off, we usually have one a week, maybe two if we're lucky. We usually use it to get done all the things that we didn't get done during the week. And that's not what it's for. Downtime is so important. One of the most important things we can do for ourselves and our health and for our well-being. And probably one of the most neglected things is rest. And rest doesn't just mean sitting around staring at the TV. We've got to rest our minds too. Just the same way we have to reboot our devices every now and then to keep them running efficiently and well and give the software a chance to update, we have to reboot ourselves. And the question is, do we even know how? I don't know about you, but if I find a moment when I can do nothing, I'm usually compelled to fill it with something. A TV show, a podcast, a game on my phone, a puzzle on my dining room table. You'd expect reading to be in there somewhere, wouldn't you? Since an author is writing this, and writers are above all else readers. But I'm so busy these days that my reading is being done with my ears. Audiobooks. They let me read while I'm doing 100 other things at the same time. I'm never as purely focused as I really want to be. And am I the only one who has trouble doing just one thing at a time anymore, even if you try? I keep catching myself reaching for the phone while watching a movie, late at night before bed, just to take a quick peek at blue sky, or if the film is a little slow, a game or a puzzle, or to look up the actors that I'm currently watching on the screen to see what else they've been in. It's a multi-screen experience. It's like we're developing a societal case of ADD. And maybe that's a natural part of our ongoing evolution. We have more coming at us from all directions, and this might be our natural response. We just become capable of doing multiple things at once. But we're not machines. And even if we were, we'd need to shut down and reboot every once in a while. We do this naturally through sleep, of course. But we, or at least I, seem to be doing a lot less of that these days as well. As I write this, it's 1:39 a.m. I've slept 2 hours so far tonight. My brain is on overload. I'm doing more and more and more. And when I'm not doing it, I'm thinking about doing it or feeling bad for not having done enough of it or worrying about how much more of it I have to do. But we can only run at this pace for so long before we hit a wall. Something breaks down physically, mentally, emotionally. And the break we refuse to take happens anyway. You see, the break is inevitable. It's coming either way. The only question is whether we take it or it takes us. And I think it's better to be the one in control. I'm a control freak. I hold the remote. I don't want downtime forced on me while I'm in a hospital bed. I want to take it on my own terms. So I guess we, all of us, have to relearn how to take downtime. Doing nothing, because we have such busy brains, doing nothing is not easy. We've trained ourselves, for one thing, to equate the number of hours we work with the amount of income we obtain. But I know for sure that I get more done in less time when I'm rested and fresh. Clearly, being rested and fresh more often would then result in a greater output, which, if my theory is correct about hours equaling income, should raise the income. Yeah, that's not an accurate thing, by the way. The hours you work do not equate with your income. They only do that to the extent that you believe they do. So that's something to mull on, and it's a whole other blog post. But moving on. So how do we convince ourselves then that stillness and quiet and doing nothing are not giant wastes of time? We probably won't. Even though I know full well I'm more productive If I take a time out here and there, I still feel like I'm wasting time and I have to push myself to do it at all. Take those breaks. But it's more than just not wanting to waste time. When I do decide to give myself a break, I have a really hard time actually doing it. My brain is bored too quickly for quiet to be okay for very long. We're so busy and so good at multitasking that our brains have maybe forgotten how to embrace pauses in their busy, busy days. They don't know what to do with stillness, with quiet, with boredom. Here are some ways we can begin to retrain our brains. Lessons in stillness. So just like with our magical practice, which we talked about last week, and I will link that in the text version of this video and in the show notes, we need to practice the art of doing nothing, the art of stillness. So here are some suggestions. The tea break. Maybe when I take a break in between tasks throughout my day, I pause and sit quietly with a cup of tea. The TV's off, the laptop is closed, the phone is silenced with vibrate turned off because vibrate's not silent. We all know this. Seriously, turn everything off just for a few minutes. Get a cup of your favorite hot beverage, herbal tea or decaf coffee. Find the most comfortable, quiet spot around and sit down with your tea. And just be. Just be with yourself and your thoughts, and maybe the view outside the window. Sit there with no devices until you finish your tea, and take your time. We can even create a cozy corner in our home just for this purpose, with a comfy overstuffed chair or a cushiony rocker near a window. Maybe we could put interesting things outside that window too, like a bird feeder or something that moves gently in the wind. Nothing to grab our attention too much. The stillness is the point. In the warm months, we could plant flowers outside the window. We could hang a crystal prism there to catch and reflect sunlight. So this is just a moment in the day, a tea break, right? It's a good thing to try. And you don't need to set a timer because the teacup is your timer. All right, the 4 daily alignments. Now, I discussed my morning alignment ritual with you last week, but to recap, so you don't have to go hunt it down, it's 3 deep breaths. I inhale while raising my arms from sides to goddess position, then all the way up. I can't go all the way up in here. I have a light over my head. Then I turn my palms out and exhale on the way back down. And on the third one, I pause in the goddess position, speak my intent for the day, and then when I come back down that time, I end in the God position with my arms crossed over my chest. If you don't like the gender divisions, by the way, and I think we're kind of moving past that as a culture, the goddess represents the form of creation, while the God represents the force part, the formless part. The form is receptive. It shapes and contains and controls, like the womb. The force is pure energy, like lightning. It's nothing until it meets form. It seeks grounding, and that's when it sparks to life. Force is the energy running through the power line. Form is the wire, the pole, and the entire grid. Think of the way a broken power line whips and snaps like a rabid dragon, showering sparks, setting fires. And then think of the power line beyond the break. You can touch it. You can pick it up. You can hold it in your hand. It's lifeless. There's no force in it anymore. The 2 types of energy, form and force, work best when they work as one unit. And that's what we mean when we're referring to the goddess and the God, the form and the force of creation. Human beings are form and force combined. Our bodies are the form. The inner being or consciousness or soul is the force. And it enters the newborn body with the very first breath, and not before, and exits again with the last breath. Each of us begin life as a unique combination of our live stream and our cell phone, our soul and our body. When I learned this morning devotional routine, the daily alignments, it was not a solo thing. I do it every morning, but when I was taught this during my early studies in the craft, it was performed 4 times a day. At dawn, at midday, at dusk, and at midnight. And I really like just stating my intent for the day at each of these opportunities. So if I happen to be taking a break at midday, I'll repeat the breaths and the whispered intent. Sometimes my intent for the day might have changed. Sometimes my initial intent for the day has already been met by midday. So I might just whisper, thank you, 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 until my breath runs out. I often notice the sky and I photograph sunrises and sunsets frequently. So on those days, I might get both the sunrise and sunset alignments in. I rarely do midnight, although my sleep patterns make it entirely possible. I just hadn't thought of it until right now, and my intent might be to sleep soundly the rest of the night. That would be a good one, actually. So those could become several moments each day when we aren't thinking or working or doing or viewing anything. And they're fast. 3 breaths, a sentence, you're done. And they include wafting out a desire or intention, both of which are the law of attraction folks' word for a spell. There's no difference. Although, with spells, we get a little fancier, throw in some incense and candles and daggers and wands from time to time, and it's more fun. And I would argue more powerful. It's the purity of the focus on the desire that helps align us with it. And creating and then casting a spell is pure focus. You're focused the whole time. The mealtime focus. I think mealtime is another opportunity to silence our devices, turn off our televisions, and just be. If I lived alone, this would be another chance for me to sit with my thoughts and feelings and experience myself more fully, like the other moments mentioned so far in this piece. But since I live with my husband, it can be a time for processing our days, sharing them with each other, and growing a little closer. I'm going to start this tonight. We always eat in front of the television, but we can wait a little for our evening TV. How long does it take to eat dinner? And how good would this routine be for one's relationship? Start treating dinner with our partner like a date. I'm sure those of you with kids at home are already doing this. As you get older and the kids leave the nest, it's easy to let ourselves think that these things are no longer so important. But I think it can be a beautiful and bond-strengthening habit for couples to keep up. And speaking of focus, I've started trying to focus on one screen at a time. I've already been working on focusing on one task at a time. You wouldn't believe how hard that is for me. Since I started writing this post, I've made a snack, read and replied to the family text loop several times, and hung the painting that I always have to take down for the Christmas tree. I noticed it was still down when I was describing my cozy reading corner, which is where it usually hangs, so obviously I got distracted and had to go hang it. It's a good exercise, I think, to focus entirely and intentionally on what we're doing while we're doing it. We'll do a better job. I think my efforts in this area have made me more productive. Even if several times every day I catch myself having wandered into another room on some mission that popped into my head. At those moments I say, and I say it aloud, I talk to myself, yes I do, it's a confession. I say aloud, finish one task before starting another. Finish what you're doing, girl. I'm home alone with the dog all day. What can I say? And yes, I've been making a conscious effort to focus on the thing I'm doing until it's done, or at least until that day's piece of it is done. My habit is to nearly always have the TV on for what I call background noise. I turned it off a little while ago, and it's really nice without it. I can hear the dog, a 190-pound English Mastiff, snoring softly at my feet. When I look up now and then, my eyes aren't drawn to the blue screen and the national embarrassment playing out upon it, but at the snow falling softly outside my windows. The energy in the house has shifted. It feels lighter, softer, less cluttered since I turned it off. I don't think I'm going to use background noise today. I think I'm going to keep it quiet in here. Maybe burn some incense and do those alignment moments today. See how that feels. So try some of these and then let me know which of them you've tried and which are working for you and how they're fitting into your day and any other positive changes that you notice in your life that might be a result of them. I try lots of different things. I keep what makes my soul sing and I let the rest fall away. I take that approach to everything in life, actually. Sidebar. Magical timing mini lesson. Midday and midnight do not always mean 12 o'clock. For magical purposes, midday and midnight are taken literally, the middle of the day and the middle of the night. That time changes as the days lengthen or shorten. To calculate midday or midnight where you live, all you need to know is the time of sunrise and the time of sunset. Count the hours and the minutes in between and find the point halfway in the middle. For midnight, it's halfway between the hours of sunset and sunrise. There's that in-between power cropping up again, did you notice? All 4 times given for the 3 breaths exercise are in-between times and therefore magical. That's why it's great to whisper a little magical intent or spell while you're doing them. Dawn is in between night and day. Midday is in between morning and afternoon, the waxing and the waning halves of the day. Sunset is in between day and night, and midnight is in between one day and the next, and in between the night's waxing and its waning. Waxing is growing, waning is shrinking. So where I live on the day I'm writing this post, timeanddate.com gives the sunrise as 7:33 a.m. and the sunset at 4:46. The length of the day then is 9 hours and 13 minutes. Half of that would be 4 hours, 36 minutes and 30 seconds. The next step is to add that half amount of time, the 4 hours, 36 minutes and 30 seconds, to the time of sunrise, and that gives you midday. So sunrise was 7:33 plus 4 hours, 36 minutes and 30 seconds makes it 12:09 and 30 seconds. So in this case, midday is pretty close to noon. If this were June, say June 1st, the sunrise would be at 5:28 and it would set at 8:34, making the day 15 hours long, almost. 14 hours and 54 minutes to be exact. Half of that is 7 hours and 27 minutes, putting midday at 12:55 if I added right. So in this case, midday is closer to 1 than to noon. I hope you enjoyed today's post. If you did, give it a share. Share with someone you love who you think might enjoy this stuff. And subscribe. If you upgrade your subscription to paid, there are several books that you can also buy over on Amazon or BN or any of the other online retailers. Magic and the Law of Attraction, A User's Guide, The Bliss Book, A Year of Bliss, Volumes 1, 2, and 3, and all the existing lessons in my book in progress, Wicca Evolved. We have, I think, the first 5 chapters up. I'm intending for 13. When it's finished, it'll be published, but you'll get it free. And you can get it free as it is created if you're a paying member. No matter how you're here, I deeply, deeply appreciate you being here. I am grateful for your presence, and I hope you're getting something out of all this. Enjoy. Have a wonderful week. Focus positive. See you next week.
And now a word from our sponsor.
A-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. Catch a fox and put him in a box, and then we'll let him go. We'll catch a fish and put him in a dish, and then we'll let him go. Hi-ho, there-we-go, and then we'll let him go. We'll catch a bear and cut his hair, and then we'll let him go. Hi-ho, there-we-go, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, a-hunting we will go. We'll catch a pig and dance a little jig,